Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Leone, and for the fairy tale story, I chose number 17, and the words are mirror, which a battle is fought, haunted, and beautiful. And the last sentence will be the fame of the heroic deed spread throughout the land. I have my notes on my computer here, so if you see my eyes going that way, it's just because I'm looking at my notes. So, alrighty, here we go. Long ago, in a faraway land, lived a young, beautiful girl named Anne. Anne and her 5 brothers lived in a small village just outside the town. Although Anne was naturally stubborn and not very friendly, these traits had grown even stronger since the death of her parents. With her being the youngest of the siblings, who were now orphans, her brothers kept a very watchful eye on Anne, which she did not like at all. The brothers expected Anne to do what she was told, since they always had her best interest at heart, but most days she refused. This day was no different from the rest. Once again, growing tired of being told what to do, Anne decided to leave the family home and go into town to the marketplace. She had been there many times, but only under the supervision of her brothers, as she was forbidden to go places alone due to her lack of common sense and her tendency to be rude to others. As Anne approached the marketplace, the feelings of resentment towards her brothers grew stronger and stronger. "Why are they always telling me what to do? Who needs them?" she said to herself. She continues exploring her surroundings when something draws her to a booth where an older but sweet-looking woman is selling beautiful glass mirrors. Anne had heard of the mirror-selling lady before. The townspeople said that there was something evil about her and that it was best to stay away. But Anne paid them no mind and began to engage in a conversation with the nice woman. She tried to convince Anne to purchase a mirror, and although she wanted to, her brothers did not allow her to carry any money, therefore she could not. The woman tells Anne, "I will allow you to choose whichever mirror you like in exchange for your friendship." With Anne being quite lonely herself, she felt this was a good idea and agreed. As their conversation continues, the woman asks if Anne will help her carry all of her mirrors back to her home. Since she promised to befriend this woman, Anne agreed. They walk a while and talk, but as the conversation went on, Anne began to feel a little bit uneasy. She could tell that there was something different about the old mirror lady, and perhaps the townspeople were right. Maybe she really was evil. They approach the woman's home, which is black in color and guarded by what appears to be a small army of men. Now that they have reached their destination, Anne decides that it is time for her to get home, but it is too late. The old woman pulls her inside the haunted home and shuts the door. She reminds Anne that she promised her friendship, and she must honor that promise or there will be unpleasant consequences. Anne tries to explain that she will be her friend and begs her to allow her to leave. The woman refuses. Firmly, Anne tells her that she will be leaving now, but the woman grabs her, and now with an unpleasant witch-like look on her face, she throws Anne into a tiny room and locks the door behind her. As she is sitting locked up in this tiny space, Anne begins to recall the stories the townspeople would say about this woman and how she wished she would have listened instead of allowing her stubborn disposition to get the best of her. Anne begins to silently weep, thinking had she only listened to her brothers and stayed home like she was supposed to, this would have never happened. The thought of her never seeing her family again was devastating to her, and she began to cry even harder. A few hours pass, and Anne begins to grow more and more frantic. Everyone knows that evil lurks in this cold, scary home. No one will ever come here, and even if they did, they would never be able to get past the army guards surrounding this place to find her. With thoughts of hopelessness filling her mind and tears filling her eyes, she drifts off to sleep. A small amount of time passes, which seemed like a lifetime to Anne, and she is awakened by a loud commotion. What could that be? She wonders. She peers out the small window in the dark, cold room, and in the distance she can see some sort of a battle taking place. No one in town would ever think of coming here, and certainly no one would be brave enough to battle the guards. Who could it be? She wonders. A few moments later she hears a faint yet familiar voice calling her name. Could it be? She thought to herself. As the voice comes closer, she realizes that it belongs to one of her brothers. She calls to him to let him know where she is. He bursts in the room and hurries her out. Walking through the house, she notices that it is in a shambles, and the witch like woman in her herd of guards is nowhere to be found. Her brother tells her how they had been searching for her all night, and when someone from town let them know that she left with the mirror lady, they knew that she was in danger. They set out to find her, and when they came across the guards, the six brothers declared a battle and defeated them. Once the guards were defeated, the haunted house and the mirror-selling witch were disbanded of their magic and banned from the land forever. That night, as Anne laid her head to rest in her safe home, she promised to obey her brothers and start treating people nicely. She had apologized to her brothers for putting them in danger and vowed to listen to their advice from now on. Although she was not pleased with her actions and the situation she had created, she knew that herself and all of the townspeople would now be safe and that the fame of the heroic deed would spread throughout the land. That is the end of my story. I'm holding this and filming it, so sorry if it was a little bit shaky. And as always, any feedback is appreciated. Thanks. Have a good night.